There's only one slot remaining for Munich here for the NAL teams, and it's either going to be claimed by Darkzero or M80. Welcome back, everybody, to the third day of playoffs. I'm your host, Jeannie, and I'm joined with Foxay and Lax. And for this matchup specifically, it's the one that we were looking forward to the most because DZ and M80 usually at internationals, usually performing really well. M80 has had a flawless run for that regular stage just to have their entire world shattered yesterday.
Yeah, M80's been playing amazing. Darkzero has never missed a major since its inception of a team, and now they're in a situation where they both have to prove themselves. Yesterday, M80 looked very lackluster, getting ran around by SSG. Darkzero, on the other hand, barely made it into playoffs in the first place. They definitely need to show up today to show us that they are deserving of not only playoffs, but going to Munich.
And let's start off with the DZ roster specifically, because as much as we love to sing their praises during stage one, now that we're in stage two, it's been quite a bit of back and forth, and it doesn't feel like they've achieved that full potential since they've returned from EWC.
Certainly not. And, you know, our defense is really the strongest point of contention when it comes to this Darkzero roster, and I'd have to argue statistically that doesn't look like it since coming into playoffs. They're struggling very hard on their defensive side, which that's the easiest side, arguably. If you're going to come into a game, you realistically want to find success on the defense because it's going to be the easier side. You don't have to adapt as much. You don't have as many moving pieces. You understand the ifs and the can'ts and the maybes throughout a round. But what we saw yesterday versus the Rebellion, they only managed to get 2 wins on each and every single one of their defender maps. And that's not good. You need to at least be punching above that. You need to be able to getting half of it. And then we have to look at the opening engagements. That's a little bit of a yin and yang sort of situation where on attacks, they're keeping it pretty balanced on their opening engagements, keeping it relatively close. But that's, again, it's the defenses, and this is where we have to highlight it. Going 2-4, going 1-6, going 2-4, almost similar to what we talked about with Wildcard. If they can start to ramp up that performance on the defensive side, being able to play together, being able to just execute better at just holding the site down, being able to play off one another, that's where we will start to see Darkzero thrive. But it's not just only on their defenses. There are players as well that contribute to that.
Yeah, because you're touching upon the fact that they have to be able to play together. And it feels like that's not what we're seeing at all. Because when we're looking at Citizen and Spirits, who are the spearheads, so to say, of this team towards that success, it's never both of them going together in sync.
And that's the unfortunate bit, because whether it was stage one or even a little bit throughout this stage, we needed Spirits and Citizen. Well, not we needed. Darkzero needs Spirits and Citizen to be able to come alive. And not just coming alive just one or the other. They need to be in sync. They both need to be having a pop-off performance, whether that's on attack, whether that's on defense. Both of these two are such a contributor as to why Darkzero was so dominant throughout stage one. Whether you just had Citizen on that Deimos, being annoying with that vertical pressure, being able to pull those miraculous plays out of his pocket, and then you have Spirits putting so much pressure with those shields, with the Ying shotgun. We know what these players are capable of. We just aren't seeing them in sync and being able to play off one another. Currently in playoffs, both Citizen and Spirits are the last 2 rankings on their team. So it's not looking pretty for the side of Darkzero. And if everything is being left on the line here to be able to qualify for Munich, these two really need to step it up. Fox already mentioned talking about Pamba needing to step it up, and JR needing to step it up. We did see that performance from them, but that's off the backing of Spirits and Citizen not being able to find their stride. So if there's anything that really needs to change going into today, it's their defense opening engagement, staying consistent, and then Citizen and Spirits being able to find their stride, whether that's on attack or defense.
So a little bit of a laundry list of things that have to go right for DZ today, and it's just a matter of whether or not that one day off has been enough for them to reset and be able to jump into things. Because for M80 side, they lost yesterday. That was the first loss that they have suffered since the beginning of this stage. So if anything, that could have been earth-shattering.
Yeah, we just saw OXG as well completely crumble due to their loss. I mean, hopefully M80 is not going to be in the same boat. Something that we've seen them do all stage is be able to adapt. They can go fast, they can go slow, they can pretty much adapt to whatever teams bring it. Especially when we saw them play against SSG during the regular stage, during stage 1. And which got them wins over SSG in the regular stage, was that adaptation, being able to use the utility, slow it down when they need to, speed it up when they need to. But what we saw yesterday was just a lack of adaptation. SSG continuously had the game in their hand, and M80 was never swapping it up. Oh my goodness. They were never swapping it up when it came to trying to play different operators. They kept running the same exact utility operators, and there was no transition. And they actually had Kino a lot of the times having to play shield, having to be that entry to try and make players move, but then they wouldn't make any additions off of him. They wouldn't try to play off of him. They just let him left them there, and everybody on the team suffered. They could not get any opening kill to save them.
Yeah, we have to look at that as well, specifically yesterday against SSG when it comes to these opening picks, because it was not looking good at all.
I mean, out of 33 total rounds, they got 12 opening kills. Even in the first map that they won, they still did not win in the opening kills department. It looked like SSG should have won it, 3-0 every single map. M80 was consistently getting bailed out by the fact that they have great individual players that can turn up, but at the end of the day, that isn't what is going to get you to Munich. It isn't going to win you a tournament for sure. So as you can see, even in the first map that they won, they did pretty bad in the opening kill. So if they could just figure that part out and not be playing from a man down, they would be in a way better boat. And this isn't something new. This is something M80's been struggling with throughout the whole stage. Despite being first, they still lose the opening kills more often than not. So that is the main focus that they need to worry about going into today, going into Darkzero, going into a team like Darkzero that obviously is having their own issues on the entry. M80 needs to tighten up and make sure that they're not losing that opening kill. They don't necessarily need to get the opening kill, but we know M80 can win it out later in the game just off of pure individual talent. They just have to make it there with all 5 players.
Okay, they're all vibing, right? I have no idea what song they're singing. Maybe if they win, we can ask them that in the interview later today. But we also have to take a look at the map veto, because this is a best of 3, which means we're gonna have 3 games of Siege potentially, maybe 2, just as what we saw earlier with the thing. But with the game between Wildcard and OXG. Starting things off this time around, though, for M80, it is going to be Chalet.
I mean, this makes perfect sense, M80. They just watched Darkzero be able to beat Shopify Rebellion on it, so obviously they're going to just instantly go into this. You don't have much time to be able to switch things up, so it is really going to be on Darkzero, like I said, to be able to adapt, and especially on their defenses. The biggest thing for me, for them, is you're starting on that defense. You're going to be comfortable here, so now you need to be playing together. You need to be playing for those trades, similar to, like I said, what we saw Wildcard doing, and keeping that man advantage. And not just the man advantage. You need to be at least closing out those defensive rounds, either a 3-3 or a 4-2, to feel comfortable on your attacks, because that's where they were finding their stride on.
And then we're going to find them going to Consulate, which is Darkzero's pick, which, in my opinion, I don't feel too confident about that as a Darkzero pick. They're trying to do the same thing that M80 did, which is picking Chalet, a map that they just viewed. M80 played SSG yesterday on Consulate, and they didn't look too hot on it. But the thing is, Darkzero, what's the strength behind a map like Consulate? Your defenses. We just highlighted how Darkzero's defenses has not looked as locked down as it used to be. So now they're in a situation where you're trying to counter-strat, bring a team where you can have some potentially an advantage on. But that's going to be Darkzero's biggest issue, is the advantage that they need. They have not been able to find success on when it comes to their defenses.
So prediction time, because so far you guys were actually both wrong about the OXG. M80 was in that S tier. Will the curse continue of these teams dropping out on that second day?
I don't know. It's going to be the same situation maybe as the wildcard game, but I just don't see Darkzero. I'm a believer. I'm a non-believer for Darkzero. They did not earn their spot in playoffs. I would have rather have seen Envy. That being said, I think M80 will 2-0.
You know, I'm going to swap mine. I'm going to go with Darkzero. I do have faith that they can fix their defenses and have a better half where, again, their attacks were looking good. It's just then a matter of Citizen and Spirits being able to find their stride. And more often than not, when your back's against the wall, you can't afford to lose anything. You start making those plays. You start making those hero moments come alive. So for that alone, I'm going to have to give it to Darkzero.
All right. We'll see whether or not, which one of you actually is going to be right, because you got the curse going so far. It's going pretty well. But reminder, I mean, M80 was in the S tier. They haven't lost a game up until yesterday. Can they bounce back mentally? Have they done the reset? Is DZ going to be okay with all the pressure they have on them, considering their regular stage was pretty terrible? Gonna find out with the decider here. Chalet, this series is the one for Munich or the one to end the season. With our casters, Ollie and Lux.
Thank you very much, Jenny. And if you were hoping to find some Darkzero belief on the cast, I think you will be sorely disappointed. I think Ollie, you and I are firmly square in the M80 camp for reasons we can talk about later. But for Darkzero, this game, I mean, obviously Munich major on the line. But for them in particular, they have not missed a single major since Blast took over. That would be a hell of a streak to lose right now with things so close in the SI standings. So,
I don't know that I'm a Darkzero non-believer yet. Like,
okay, that's fair.
Based off all the information that we have up until this moment, yes, DZ aren't the favourites coming into this, and I don't think that anyone would be too surprised to hear me say that. The thing about M80 is we haven't seen that full, well-rounded team performance for them since they got into the playoffs. I don't know if it's the pressure of missing out on EWC and the fact that this is the only major this year, as we know a typical major to be. But there is something bubbling away there with this M80 roster where we are relying on incredible individual performances, which we saw yesterday, and we also saw fall short yesterday. And there's been a consistent theme throughout the stage. So I don't know which is the most well-rounded team at the moment. And then you get to this point in playoffs when we're qualifying teams for a major, and you kind of think, okay, if this is our region, if we're going to take a bit of ownership over NAL and be proud of the teams and proud of what we put out there to the international stage to go up against the likes of EU, SAL, APAC regions, whoever it might be, who do you think will be the best team to send there? Who do you think will be the best team to stack up on that international stage? And I don't know who the answer is between these two at the moment. If DZ can redeem themselves here tonight, then they will have, in my opinion, earned that right. But M80 coming in with, even though it's off individual performance, a little bit more momentum.
It may be, and I think at least for the side of M80, going against SSG, while it was really only hero plays that were getting them through it, it was at least hero plays across the roster, right? Like we had a Gunner 1vx and multi-kills, a Fuser and Hot and Cold multi-kills. It was a bit of a team effort, even if the isolated performances round to round were individual. Whereas with DZ, when we saw them play in the upper bracket, they only got to map 3 basically because of NJR, like locking in for a few rounds, and in particular on round 15. It was a lot more of a lopsided performance or concentrated performance for Darkzero than it was, and in particular on this map. It seemed like their luck had run out in round 15, attacking Master Redmond Office, and NJR in a 3v5 out of nowhere just pulls out a 4K and stunned everybody, including SR. Spirits in particular had a rough day during that series across 3 maps. He was the lowest rated player for Darkzero. Only -1 on the entry, but -14 on the kills playing ops. More often than not, these Shields. It's been a bad playoffs for Shields players. Canadian last night was having a rough time, and Spirits in that game against SR. And as he gets in here, nobody really immediately in his line of sight to deal him any harm. He will eventually have to deal with this library hold, and that is where problems will start arising for the Shield.
Nice Rotero drone. Gets rid of the shield at the top of library stairs there. We could just see a yokai drone manned by Hot and Cold shoot up to the ceiling there as well, just dodging out of the way of the blast, I believe. And there's some very interesting Denari trips that have been placed in and around by Gunner. Library is a little bit of a labyrinth at the moment with lasers running all over the place. Gaveni losing his little pocket of safety on that fireplace as well, with his deployable shield going down. Leaves only one more up in play. It isn't going to stop him from picking up that opening kill, though, over onto Pambazoo, a player that I think it's fair to say has been struggling of late, especially versus the standard we know him capable of.
In that SR game, he was just ranked a little bit below 100 EPS, which seems fine, but given Pambazoo's heights and what he has achieved, this role change continues to just be a little difficult for them. I mean, right there, he's doing a lot of good work. Those Rotero drones, Ollie, I think we can both agree, they were excellent, well-placed, got the shields. But is that who you want Pambazoo doing? Is that what you want Pambazoo doing? That's the question we're still waiting to be answered. Unfortunately for Darkzero, it's something that's not working out in the short term. Spirits is kind of, I think, losing overall from this situation. He gets that kill, but the attack has fallen apart around him. Nave, Citizen, Pambazoo, all gone. NGR can come join with that 417. He was a menace inside of that chalet against SR, and he will kill his immediate opposition, find the next. NGR does seem to find a way through on this map, but re-swinging as he swaps to the secondary. Oh, you're just giving yourself away at that point. Gets a little rocky for M80, but a clean finish at the dismount.
Got a little bit of touch and go there for a second. You think NJR, he's got that DMR, he's lined a couple of kills up already. There's a lot of chance that he's able to collect. There's the humble trip device that was giving Spirits a lot of trouble there on that blitz. He had a lot of space to play with. He was able to get himself into sight, but he has to activate that trip to really be able to do anything about that. Brilliant play onto the flanking Gunner. Soon as Kino dies there, it kind of opens things up a little bit for Spirits, but that piece of utility at his feet was always going to be his undoing. As soon as you move through that, you take a little bit of damage. That's not really the main concern. It's, of course, going to be the slowing effect and the sound cue that come with that as well. And giving your location away at that moment not ideal. NJR just with a little bit too much to do. Despite him being relied upon multiple times for Darkzero, it was just a little bit too much of a stretch there inside of round one. Barring game's not going DZ's way. M80 straight up onto the top floor, taking us into office. Again, they can afford to be fairly flexible with these lineups. His army and the Warden being removed. Of course, a Warden is going to be a pretty hot pick if you're playing against a Darkzero attacking team because they love things like Ying, Glaz, Blitz. They're all about, I don't want to call it cheese necessarily, but they're all about those flashy operators.
You could call it cheese. You could absolutely call it cheese.
Yeah, you probably should call it cheese, shouldn't you? So yeah, a Warden's always a pretty good removal, and his army never a bad option either. But it does free them up somewhat, and they're going to be able to bring plenty of util denial. They've got those laser gates. I mean, Diffuser's been loving Aruni. It's his most played up by far on the defense. Absolutely lethal with that DMR. And the gates are kind of just a bonus at that point.
Unfortunately, NJR on the follow-up shut down. Pamazoo as well. Again, Darkzero. They get that pick, and it's just not entirely working out. Spirits has lost a lot of HP, but has got both his kills in this round. Citizen tangling with another as Gunnar takes a fight outside West Main. There's the advantage shifting hands. Gavini and Diffuser both aiming for this retake. Hello around the corner. Impacts out. Easy to down Spirits. Got to back up. There's two people moving in from Solar, yet not in an opportunity to trade. Reaching a little bit of a settled position now. As we just start to reach the halfway point. Diffuser inside a bathroom. Ollie, this is a good position for the defense.
I'm kind of surprised that Citizen hasn't committed a little bit sooner. He's still out there on the rappel. And whilst that's fine, he can hold a bit of a cross. These M8 players know exactly where he is, and they're just not going to expose themselves to him. It would be a pretty big misplay right now to just give yourself up to Citizen. Nath, again, going to attempt walking up these Solar stairs. They've kind of already sold Spirits here. They need to make something happen. The laser gate activates, the swing there onto Citizen. Nath good for one in the 1 versus 1 with Gaveni. Draws for the pistol, but Gaveni just better. Takes the initiative there and immediately swings off the back of it. A little bit of an audio cue of that weapon chain, and bang, he's straight in with his opportunity.
And I kind of like the role swap we see from Darkzero. Typically, what we saw actually in that Chalet game against SR was NJR playing that Glaz entry, except here, you know, Pamazoo moves in. I believe he gets that initial pick, so I'm a big fan of it. Just again, the only issue is we got 3 people hopping in that bathroom window, and without, we talk about cheese, but hey, without a Ying since M80 banned it, a lot of eyesight is being left up for M80. A lot of ability to take those fights, you know, fully informed, full vision. Makes things a little difficult, and there's also a lot of utility waiting to be tossed their direction. So even though it leveled out to a 3v3 and a 2v2 after that, I think M80 were ready and waiting for that rush to happen through bathroom window. As Darkzero, they're playing that cheesy style of play that Ali mentioned. That certainly works for them. It's associated with them. But that's basically everything they did on Chalet against R. War rounds like that, and boy did it work against SR. But there's a lot of tape on it now. I don't think you're going to catch M80 off guard. They'll have seen it.
Yeah, the prep's going to be too good, isn't it? Nice little attempt there from Hot and Cold.
Alarm deployed.
Love that little bit of aggression there at the early portion of the round. Nice and safe to do so as well.
Let's see what I can find.
And whilst M80 aren't going for the sort of traditional operators, they're not necessarily bringing the cheese either, but we are seeing a lot of Denari tonight. Gaveni has been let loose and activated on the newest operator in the pool. Able to place those trips out there, and it's just another way of sort of architecting the map and creating little mini games and little problems for attackers to solve. We also have the Solus from Hot and Cold. NJR's already thrown one of these ROU projectors. With the positioning of everyone, looks like they're going to try and get up, but that one doesn't actually go all the way through. It won't stop Spirits, though. He's straight in.
Guy's moving his way in. Won't miss time things too much. Oh, no! Around the shield, through the shield. I'm not sure how, but Spirits has had some moments. I was about to say, I think Spirits might have got a little robbed there, unfortunately. Might not pay for it, though. Darkzero find 2, though Hot and Cold gifted 1, grabs another. Definitely Spirits, I think, getting punished a bit by forces outside of his control. You lose the shield on that spearhead. NGR as well. That slight mistiming on the ROU projector, it happens. Clips on the objects inside of the world, but mistimings like that can cause issues. Yet Darkzero, they find another. With hot and cold on low HP. This is a 1v3 ready and waiting at the moment. If they can just reset, calm down, and hunt down this remaining player. But hot and cold's got control of that diffuser. Doesn't even need the Specchio scanner. It's in his line of sight. Citizen spots just the little edges of Gunner's foot. Still resetting a little bit. Waiting to find this remaining information.
Quite a tense 2 versus 2 this in all seriousness, isn't it? These are really not looking to overcommit to this, and M80, I think, recognizing hot and cold's position and him being very low, trying to play it safe. But they hold all the cards right now. They have the diffuser on the ground. Gunner's actually been able to rotate himself upstairs as well. So providing that hot and cold's at least able to fend off for long enough, Gunner should be able to win this on the vert. The diffuser now has been recovered and Citizen can start attempting to plant. This is when we need that Specchio scanner.
Oh, you can see the combination, but unfortunately, Gunner, a little too late to stop the plant, but just in time for the kill. Yet in the process, both defenders, 1 HP. Pamazoo with vert and the horizontal to deal with. It's always difficult, but if there were ever a situation for it to work, it's got to be this one. The greatest odds possible. Picks the right angle, I think, will isolate the 1v1 West Main. Gunner passes, but don't worry, don't overthink it. You've got one right there. You're so close to the end. Just one shot to take him down. Transfer to the next around the corner. Oh, what a flick! It was about as easy as it could be made, but still a hard job to get done. Pamazoo in the clutch gives Darkzero their first.
Sometimes rounds have like a certain energy about them. And I know this sounds quite hippie, but you got to bear with me. There was weird energy in that round. It felt like there was a hell of a lot riding on it. Almost as if Darkzero didn't win that round, that was going to be it. Like, their chance at Munich was going to be done and dusted. And we're at round 3 of a best of 3. Like, we are so early right now. There just felt like so much tension in the air. 2 versus 2 that, I mean, lasted for well over a minute. And you can't even sort of criticize the way that M80 played it because you can see the vision. Hot and cold, 1 HP, Specchio scanner. Needs to try and make use of that. Gunner, all of a sudden it's time for you to step up. You've got a lot of work to do here. And the timing was just a little bit off. Interesting that Darkzero are actually going to use their tactical timeout right now as well. Obviously, they call for the tax a little bit earlier than they happen typically. I'm not sure exactly when this tactical timeout was called for. Regardless of the outcome of the round, it might not be directly linked. There's clearly something that Kangaroo Kenny has seen early that he wants to try and nip in the bud. Seeing there just in the back of Citizen's camera, just yapping his truth. Gonna give his team some pearls of wisdom there and keep them locked in.
Gotta go back to Spirit there.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
I don't know how that's like, I don't know how it's worked. Do you know what I mean? Because the mechanics of it just looked like he's basically reverse barrel stuffed or shield stuffed hot and cold, and it should have just been a straightforward melee into the down, into the finish with the pistol.
Well, it happens sometimes. And also, I think, you know, it's definitely unfortunate positioning, but hot and cold, honestly, just kind of a victim of circumstance as well, because in an ideal world, it'd be, you know, Gunner down below, hot and cold up top, and just, you know, when they start rushing you at the beginning of the round, you don't really have time to reposition, especially once you become the only person on the site. So I'd agree. I think M80 played it about as well as you could expect. I love the vision too. Also love Darkzero. I mean, they were taking a long time, but let's be honest, they had a minute 20 seconds. I kind of want to see them using as much time as you can, especially with all the drones they had remaining. Really big fan of how both teams played that. So no complaints from me with how that round transpired for M80 or Darkzero. It'll give Darkzero their first. They'll take a tactical timeout as, you know, a Pamazoo 3K plus 1v2. You like something a little more certain. You like something a little more decisive. It's not your pick, but never want to bet on a 3-mapper when You're at risk of being knocked out of contention for one of the only majors or international events this year. Bit of an entry on the opposite side of the map. No blitz this time. Spirits had locked that in 3 rounds in a row, and while we have a shield, Monty, very different methodology than the blitz. So while it is a full clear, a lot of different tools, a lot of different players taking these positions.
Different tools on both sides as well. You mentioned shields there for the attack. There was 3 shields brought last time for this defense. Red deployables on fireplace, top of library stairs, and I think 1 inside of the site. None being brought this time in round 4. So another big switch up there in how the round is being played fundamentally. Instead, much more focus on kind of an oldie but a goldie. The utility soak, Jaeger, Wamai, Aruni. All the things that are able to catch projectiles and slow the attacking push down, remove some of that lethality. Nath, on the Monty, managed to find a little bit of a gap right now, and he's careful not to de-shield, but this should be a dead Gaveni. Nath needs his team to try and buddy up with him. There it is, and Citizen, is he good for 2? Yes, he is.
Oh, Gunner trying to get a little tricky on that connector angle. Oh, they all fall. It is a well-planned push by Darkzero. And I bet the most satisfied player coming out of that timeout in that round is going to be Kangaroo Kenny. Don't know if it was necessarily all his wisdom, but that's the exact kind of impact as a coach you want to see, or the exact kind of round you want to see after you hit the pause button. Really simple game plan there, Ollie. You just get the Monty walking up the fireplace stairs for pressure. You got the player coming in up Ivy hallway to pinch, hopping in the window as well, moving past the blue stairs. Really nothing to complain about there for Darkzero. I mean, definitely think Gunner's position probably catching Citizen off guard, but he reacts well enough. There's always going to be unexpected variables that manifest in a round. And even if he dies, Lord knows Darkzero had plenty of people able to trade him out right around that position. Only thing maybe you could say, Monty's a little exposed. We had everybody on the 2nd floor, so potential somebody could walk up fireplace. But hey, you even got somebody on the office balcony window. Maybe they have to do double duty, but very well thought out and well planned attack for Darkzero to, once they get their first true, genuine victory on the board, and a flawless as well.
It was great.
Love to see it.
Like, I'm a little bit dumbfounded as to how Citizen's been allowed to walk up blue stairs.
So I almost wondered, did he walk up blue, or did he, like, hop in Ivy and, like,
I don't know. Like, his position kind of felt like he walked up blue, but I'm just like, how?
Sure, see, because I thought that too, but I was like, no, there's no way. Like, there's no way he walked up blue. Like, I just don't believe it.
Because if he's hopped in Ivy, he would have been seen by Gaveni on the Jaeger.
Oh, that's true.
I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how he's so slippy. He's fully lubricated right now. I mean, if I was Kenny, I'd take that. I would literally, I'd hold my hand and be like, yeah, that was all me. After the timeout, oh yeah, and this as well. Opening pick in round 5. I'll take that one as well. Why not?
Kangaroo Kenny currently at 6 kills.
All of them trades, all of them opening picks, all of them impactful.
100% cost for Kangaroo Kenny at the moment. I mean,
I expect nothing less.
Pamsu's got the right idea too. Opening pick, immediately fall back to library. There's no point. Why are you push? You don't need to push it. Just chill out. You got to. You haven't even. He didn't even use a Dokubi call to get that kill. How often do we see a Dokubi call he used early on and it finds nothing? He got that opening pick onto the smoke. Didn't even need the call. Darkzero showing a really good about face.
5 as well.
On the smoke too. I mean, we've seen, like, you and I have casted a couple smoke roams on library, but, like, you know, no disrespect, but the guy doing that we've seen is usually like Maya. I just don't know if you can get away with that if you're not Maya.
Oh, you just sent me into like a wonderful world of Liquid playing Chalet. It made me feel really warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I love this too. All right, well, not that, but...
No, I think we've got to be equal. We've got to love that as well from Hot and Cold.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. Good
We've got to love all equal. It's a good pick. I think Hot and Cold and M80, sorry, in general, needed something there. This round has been working fairly slowly, but it really has been going at Darkzero's pace. Another opportunity now, but Gaveni will punish Pambazu. Dokubi call or not. The difficulty is going to be rotating up Solar here. He knows that he's not really got the utility to do that.
He doesn't whatsoever. We'll be spotted by the Bees, but Hot and Cold with that pick as well. We got 2 players remaining for DZ, and they know one of them's on the rappel. even in a best case scenario, you've got that 3v3. There's 2 Aruni gates in front of Nath. Citizen hopping to the bathroom window, again finds himself in a powerful position. Can isolate the 2v1 on the player on the stairs, but Gavini, man, has he been hitting shots these past couple days. That seemed like a Darkzero round, destined to be so. And yet out of nowhere, Gavini with a major frag in the mid-round leads into a recovery late in the game.
I think M80 did a really good job not to overreact there. It felt like a lot was happening to them in that round. DZ coming in, getting that opening kill. Pamba managing to find something nice and early. Spirits, obviously, on the library, on the solar stairs as well, seeing a little bit of success before Hot and Cold shut him down. It really felt like DZ held all of the cards in that round. And M80 just had to wait patiently for their opportunity, because if they waited for long enough, they knew that DZ had more to do in that round. They can't just have a good early round and then call it a day. Like, that isn't how Siege works. You've got to be good from start through to end, or at least you've got to finish strong. And DZ just kind of faltered out a little bit there. Again, it was an occasion where we had multiple players outside on the rappel, just not sort of committing in, and the side players maybe not having the desired level of impact. And maybe a little bit of desync, honestly. It looked quite similar to the way that round 1 played out.
5 seconds to go.
Where we've got players that are in the building, Pamba, Spirits, and NJR, that are, you know, making things happen, and you look around and it's kind of Nathan Citizen still out there on the rappel, or a little bit further behind that front line of the attack. And that's fine. You can often have a front line and a back line, but there needs to be a good connection between the two, and a knowledge and an ability to be able to move up quickly and bolster and fill that gap once the front line starts to get picked down. M80 keeping their lead at the moment here in this one, 3 rounds to 2. And already feeling like a much closer game on our hands here than our first game in the last series, Lynx.
Yeah, definitely a back and forth at the moment, and unfortunately, I think we're probably in for a pretty boring round 6 and a final round of this half. And maybe decided the finish line to bust out Cade to Burrell, kind of the pinnacle of stall and time denial by, I suppose, hard breach denial means. You can see the logic. It's relatively sound. I mean, when Darkzero have been successful, the one round we saw that wasn't a 1vx, it was off, you know, one of their many rush attempts actually working, but that's really all that they'd had. And so if you can just reinforce a bunch of walls and stop it completely with Electro Claws and Zoto Canisters, sure, they have a Maverick, but that's going to take time. That's going to take a lot of time and expose NGR while he's doing it. Gunner positioned aggressively on the window, and I think, unfortunately, as Pambazoo hops in, ends up paying the price for it. Walking up the piano hallway, trying to find this second. There's one in office, but on AES at the wrong time. Diffuser with the next, Gavini following it up as it's another flood by Darkzero. 6 rounds of it, and I just think M80 are wise to their tricks. Even if the guns are sharp, tactically speaking, Darkzero, 2 chalets now, have been profoundly one-dimensional. And the flash and the shine caught us against SR. It got them a 4-2 half. They employ it again against M80. They'll come out the losers. Only 2 rounds to their name, one of them a 1v2 from Pambazoo. Of course, while Nath has not lost the round, I have a lot of faith in M80 that with these vertical angles, they should be able to get this final player, especially the BP spotted. You'll keep moving. Try the plant again as they've got more intel to gather, but Nath will actually get the diffuser down successfully. Any takers? Any follow-up? There we go. Gavini finally taking the angle on the hatch. Will lock in that 4-2, and M80 emerge from the first 6 victorious.
It's another occasion, isn't it, where M80 just let the plan go down, because it kind of just simplifies the round a little bit. Why risk pushing and risk giving yourself up as one, you know, single gunfights if you don't know exactly where Nath is playing? Better just let him get the plant down, and you can really just narrow that right down. The hatch is always a brilliant place to start there. M80 with a good solid round to finish off their first defensive phase here on Chalet. Darkzero, despite being pretty prolific with that opening kill, haven't really been able to convert that into round wins the same way that we would have liked them to. Pamba's been fantastic so far. 3 times we've seen Pamba get the opening pick, and all of those rounds, DZ have gone on to lose.
It really is just kind of bizarre so far. I mean, Pamazoo with an opening twice, they end up losing it. I mean, it's kind of like what we saw from M80 yesterday, right? I mean, how much were they losing that opening duel against SSG? I mean, Clubhouse, they only won an opening duel 3 times out of 12. 3 times out of 12 with a map 7-5. And that map was kind of the peak of their recovery, the peak of their individual performance. And here you could argue it's something similar. You know, we have Darkzero getting these picks in recovery, but I think, Ollie, the big contrast for me between this game and the SSG game is even if Darkzero get the opening pick, it kind of falls apart pretty soon after. It really feels like they get that initial foothold, and after that, they're really just nothing backing it up. And on the defense, I guess that pressure's off your shoulders. You don't have to make that initial play anymore. You don't have to really follow through. You can put forth your setup and watch how the attack responds, but even though we have a similar trend statistically, that SSG game just had a lot more power behind it.
10 seconds to insertion.
See how the side swap favors Darkzero here.
5 seconds remaining.
M80, as we've mentioned, very strong on the defense this stage. Highest defensive win rate inside of North America for stage 2. Slightly skewed by I believe a very good 6 rounds on the defense, as we did have some very swingy one-sided games this stage in NAL. But the opportunity was there for everyone to get those wins against certain opponents, but it still leaves them with a very handsome scoreline. Attack's obviously not as high, but still up there, above 50%. So on paper, they are looking pretty good in this, especially given that they've come out at a 4-2. But for DZ, it's really been their defenses that have struggled. It was something that Lax and Fox both spoke about on the desk earlier. But their attacks have generally been okay. A lot of the desync has come through on this defensive side. And if they've had a 4-2 or 2-4 half on the attack, you do kind of worry how the defense is going to go for them. Amber, just able to take down a couple of those Selmas that have been sent onto that solar wall. He's certainly feeling a little bit of pressure up here, but he's got plenty to be playing around right now. Dokkaebi Call and another set of Selmas to go out. Kino this time trying to catch him on the cross. It's going to be a diffuser that takes a good portion of damage, and the opening pick, finishing off a previously softened up Pamba.
Now was Diffuser playing outside that bathroom window, and I honestly was kind of curious why the window wasn't open, especially after seeing Pamazoo just walk around and get that Selma charge, but maybe Diffuser was just trying to let them have a bit of a false sense of security, break open that door off the back of the Dokkaebi Call, and clearly it's working out, especially once Kino relays that information. A lot of damage taken, I was about to say, by M80 players, though. Diffuser downed and finished off outside a bathroom. Gavini below half as well. He's able to get that kill, but you gotta say Darkzero are bleeding M80 very nicely. It's only now that things really start, oh boy, really start breaking M80's way. They were at least dealing out a lot of damage in turn and on the way out, but it's the kind of thing that the players you leave up have to make good on that. Unfortunately, M80, even on reduced HP, only lose Diffuser on bathroom window. Everything else has worked out. Taking the time to drone. But they will miss Drone Citizen. Unclear what impact he'll have from this position. But it's 30 seconds remaining. He's got the vertical angles. And boy, are M80 taking their time. No Dokkaebi Call remaining. He can sit passive through this EE1D, and Kino doesn't start planting. There is full time for Citizen to move across this vertical angle, and Gavini was holding passive last time we saw. He walks in, now he strikes Kino. Oh no! Really seems like there's an opportunity for Citizen, but maybe even I was being a bit too generous. He does find a gap. He does get something from it. And while he fires towards the diffuser, the moment for those shots to land is long gone. A 5-2 half seems in the hands of M80 so long as they can just wait and hold passive for 13 seconds. But Citizen will just decide to end things on his own terms. Admirable, honorable, but still a loss nonetheless. M80 widen their lead to 3 rounds.
One of the things that impresses me about this M80 roster is their ability to play just like that. They're in a 4 versus 1. They have a lot of redundancy there. It is very unlikely that that round goes any other way but theirs. but they recognize and give respect to the fact that it's Citizen.
Bombs from being defused
They
by
didn't know
attackers.
exactly where he was. They'd used a lot of their utility previously in the round to get themselves to that position. So then they just pivot and play back to that win condition. It's a trait that we see them when they're on the defense. They will wait for the attackers to plant and then plan a retake. And then in the same sense, when they're on the attack, they will wait until they plant and then control the retake. There is absolutely no rush in this M80 roster. They are cold as ice in those situations where you would see a lot of other teams overreacting and trying too hard to get the round done and dusted.
5 seconds left.
And yeah, it works, you know, 7, 8 times out of 10. But there's the occasional time where a couple of players will start to line up and it'll be left in a dicey 1 versus 1, and then all of a sudden, one person who seconds ago was in a 4v1 is now in a 1 versus 1, and it's kind of like, oh crap, I have to win this because otherwise we'll have thrown it. It's a very nice trait. M80 often seem in full control in those moments. And they're certainly in control here and now. 5 rounds to 2. And showing no signs of slowing down. A lot of shenanigans in the bathtub there. There was some very technical Jaeger ADS placement being called for to try and fit it all in with that deployable shield as well.
One of those moments where it is M80's pick, it is Chalet, so just keep that in mind. This was close against SR and required a big individual performance to pull it over the line, but this is M80's pick. It's the one we expect to win. You just always have to worry a little bit with those 7-2s. Your Citizen trying to fire some shots at those ex-Kairos, but won't be able to find anything from that angle. Sitting inside a bathroom though, behind a shield with multiple ADSs. Util burn really is, Util burn meta is kind of back in some of these positions. Hear that nade go in, get caught by one of them. All right, Panba. Opening pick 2 times in a row, and just 1 shot from Kino does him in. Diffuser fishing down below. Nave's hopped out the window as well. This is going to give important information to M80. They know it's a 5v3 on site right now because of Nave hopping out that window. And with Spirits on 1 HP, I'm curious if they'll decide to push or not. Doesn't seem like they will. Instead, Diffuser turning his attention to Fireplace to try and cut off the one player he knows is there. Just doing double duty, looking up to Fireplace, looking down. Finished off by DZ. Could have been a lot more, and I think DZ just happy they recovered from that lost Pambazoo.
Yeah, Spirits are going to be counting his lucky stars there, isn't he? He's still got a Toxic Babe canister to send out there. Gunnar just trying to take advantage of some of these outside to in angles we often talk about on Chalet. On called with the kit. We'll just start to see a little bit of pressure here, but Kino on the upside down repel is going to take Spirits down. Gunnar finds NJR, and slowly but surely M80 just pick apart these defenders and again find themselves in a 4 versus 1. Nath this time in the clutches. Not even sure if he's going to get past Ivy window if he keeps peeking it like that. The plant now down. M80 sticking to their win condition. They're playing a brilliant brand of Siege tonight here, Lynx. It's so consistent. Every round looks like the last. You know, they've got a good early game advantage, get the plant down, force the pressure back onto DZ. It really is textbook.
And maybe that's what it is. I mean, these past couple rounds have been really puzzling, and not because of like, you know, I don't have some like big criticism of DZ or even praise of M80 beyond what Ollie said, but it's just like things have been moving really slow, Ollie. Like really slow for M80. Look at round 7. Opening pick at a minute 42. We don't have kills for another 30 to 40 seconds, right? Look at that round. Kino gets the opening pick on Panba, like minute 15 in, minute 30 in, something like that. It's like a whole another minute, it feels like, before we get more kills. And then what happens? 3 DZ players die within the span of like 5 to 10 seconds. It feels like just off the pace of these rounds, with how slow they've been, how tense they've been, that one in particular, with the trade on the Diffuser, it feels like things are close. And yet things are happening kind of out of our immediate purview. And I mean that like people are droning, people are coming, things that we just physically cannot see or aren't readily accessible to the average viewer, and even to us sometimes, based on what we have to focus on. And whatever it is what you said. It is coordinated, it is clean, it is organized, it is textbook Siege, and the moment it lands, everything falls into place. And while they can kind of give us a whiplash in kind of the momentum and where it felt the round was going, you cannot deny the results as they are up 6-2 on their own pick. About to baptize Darkzero on map 1.
Yeah, time to start turning our attention to Consulate already, isn't it, really? DZ already used their tactical timeout. They used it very early in the series. And it was good for a round. They came out with a really well-coordinated push off the back of it. It was something that M80 weren't expecting. We certainly weren't expecting it. The opening pick, it hasn't been a fantastic indicator tonight if DZ have been getting it as to where the round is going to go, because they've had the opening pick plenty and still haven't been able to convert it. The rounds where we see M80 get it, you're like, okay, this is another one. Pamba falling early. Kino can start to move through Piano here. Doesn't need to get too ahead of himself, though. This M80 team is nothing but well calculated. There's a clash that Citizen's going to be playing, which may do something to slow them down. I want to see where Hot and Cold places that Roarer.
I'm intrigued as well. Crazy stat, by the way. So Pamazu, by the way, is currently, I think that is his 7th opening engagement of the series so far. If Pamazu has been involved in an opening engagement, win or lose, Darkzero lose the round. No matter if he's getting the opening picks or dying first, every single one of his efforts or his efforts have been wasted in this detriment. In this case, it's not going well for DZ. M80 get an early foothold, but they're at least bloodied in the process. As Gavini hops in, he's got the door to library isolated, but you've got to watch Mez. Gavini just not watching Mezzanine or Blue whatsoever, walks in front of that shield with Diffuser. We just praised M80's textbook Siege, and it feels like we've got some pretty big oversights here on this push in the late round. Not aware of the clash, not aware of the player behind this shield either. So as Hot and Cold moves in, that's an easy gunfight for Spirits to win. All right, well, hopefully no more late rounds like that, Ollie, because Darkzero might actually make a comeback. M80 still have 3 rounds, but that really did not look that good.
Well, we've broken the Pamba curse, haven't we? Him being involved in an opening engagement and then DZ going on to lose the round. But you still got to kind of question it a little. I mean, it's an offsite. For the Siege that we've seen M80 play tonight, we can forgive them one lackluster attack. I think it's just uncharacteristic of what we've seen up until this point, because typically they've had an answer for everything, and deployable shields like that, we've seen rounds where they've just very quickly dealt with that, removed the player, and they've been able to come up with something off the back of it. I don't know if the Rorador was just maybe trying to shoehorn an older strat into maybe a different setup, but it definitely didn't have the desired effect. There's a couple of players there that we kind of saw get caught just running through a cross, and that's not M80's style really at the moment. But they're not going to be sweating it too bad. They've still got a couple of chances to convert this into a map point. We're going downstairs to kitchen and dining for this round. Nate's going to be bringing the Thorn. Like, I feel like this is the first time. I would look down, I was like, who even is that operator? I haven't seen that for a minute.
God, have we even seen a Thorn this stage?
I'm looking. Presence, 0%.
Damn,
Thorn. Not been chosen.
That's a throwback.
If this data is correct, that's the first Thorn in 600 rounds.
Jesus Christ. It feels like it's been a while since I've seen a Thorn.
Vulcans are up.
I want to say, God, I think it's been 2 years since she came out.
You only ever see it in ranked. I genuinely can't remember a time I've seen it in competitive.
You don't even really see it in ranked anymore either.
No. Even when things get weird in like SAL or something like that, you don't see a Thorn.
Well, interesting pick. I mean, it is a trap operator, but I mean, maybe one of the trap and the shield. But I mean, we got a Fenrir up. Like, we got Fenrir, we got Capcan. Maybe he just really wanted like the trap shield combo, and I don't keep a encyclopedic knowledge of every single primary and secondary util combo, so please forgive me. But anyway, He's also kept a lot of them in pocket, oddly enough. Maybe it was an accidental pick based on how he's placing a lot of them mid-round, but anyway. Toxic canister will go out. That is something you got to worry about on that position, especially if you're playing close to the edge. If a smoke canister goes out, you got to do what Diffuser just did, but M80 taking a lot of time again.
I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
No, not at all. As long as you
We've
be good
seen
on
them
it.
set themselves up quite well.
Oh,
Ooh, nice pick. Even nicer that we saw the player that did have them in the sights, I think it was Hot and Cold, switch over to a smoke at the wrong moment. But they did get taken out on that Thorn. Spirits, close range with the shotgun, NJR for the next. It's a little bit scrappier this time. It's certainly a little bit more frantic.
oh.
Big engagement there from Gaveni, though, to take NJR down. That should open up that top floor.
Oh, yeah, it seems we might be done here. The CCR's wrapping around, though. What a reaction by Gunner! Just flips around with the shotgun, shuts him down. With the DMR, excuse me, shuts him down entirely. Citizen dies to that fire if he doesn't have the Rima dash right there. Long angle, oh my god, nails him to a post outside. Gotta take a breath after that hard work. 40 seconds remaining, and a lot's been used. Hear the Banshee upstairs. Drone will spot him. He can at least rotate over. Direct down on the hatch. Oh, no. Diffuser outside the building. M80 might have to go hunting. I don't think they have time to go recover. Citizen knows somebody's above Solar. Tries to break through the wall. Caught on the ledge. So he'll back up to West Main. As they both creep down. One peeks the angle. Oh, but he doesn't hit a single one. Making me believe for just a second, but it is clean from M80. 7-3 on Chalet.
M80 showing that they can get it done by multiple means there as well. Not only have they got an ability to orchestrate a plant and to control that post plant, when the diffuser's out of action, they can still push through and get the kills. A very consistent map there from M80. And I'm excited to see what's left in this series. We're going to cut to a short break. After that, we'll be back with our desk and getting set up for map number 2.
West.
Sounds west.
I'm with you. Heard, let's go.
Walk,
Ready?
walk,
3,
walk,
2, 1, go. I'm standing. I'm swinging now. 3, 2, 1, swinging.
West.
Nice, boy. Good shit.
Come on, bro.
Good shit.
Well done, guys. 2 minutes. Take a piss. Go to the sink. Go to the bathroom, and then we'll go.
Go to the sink. I don't know about that one, but a really, really strong start from the side of M80 in this best of 3 series. This is what we wanted to see from them. We wanted them to see them turn up the heat. We wanted them to show us exactly what they're capable of. They're not just best of 1 merchants. What better team to do that against than DZ?
And it was a great job because Darkzero, even in their previous Chalet that we saw them play against SR 2 days ago, wasn't really that great. So great call to go to a map like that. It really works into M80's favor too. And out of all of the rounds, Darkzero got 4 opening kills in the game. And out of those rounds, they've only were able to convert 1 of those rounds, which goes to show M80 does a great job playing at a man deficit. They can bring rounds back if they lose that opening kill. But if they can maintain the opening kills advantage, which they did in this game, it makes it that much easier. And it goes to show that they can just snowball as long as they're not consistently losing that opening kill. So I think that's the biggest takeaway that M80 needs to stick on to, keep going throughout the rest of the playoffs into Munich if they win this next map. Is just that, focus on getting that opening kill, be passive, because worst comes to worst, you know that you can pull a rabbit out of a hat if you lose the first one.
No, and I completely agree with everything that you said about that. Now they find themselves on Consulate where Darkzero, I mean, they lost to this team on they lost to this team on what, it was Bank when they last time played throughout the regular stage. So this isn't going to be an area where, again, DZ's going to find any sort of comfort. I mean, if you're struggling on your attacks already with Spirits still being able to find success, which I do want to say, Spirits and Citizen being able to find their stride this matchup, it then falls back to what you made a point of Pamba and NJR not stepping up, not being able to help out when the job is being done at that front line. So it just leaves to question Darkzero. what is happening inside the comms at this point, because I can't really pick out one particular thing, then just revolving it back to being around Nath, especially on those attacks of, okay, something is clearly going wrong, something's going right, let's try to fix whatever's happening wrong, and let's solve that issue, because clearly, like we said, Citizen and Spirits need to step up. They're stepping up. Now it's NJR, Pamba, and Nath that we need to see come alive, being able to swap between these operators, whatever's being banned out, whether it's the Ying, whether it's the Deimos, doesn't really matter at this point, because it doesn't seem like they're in conjunction with one another on these attacks.
I mean, you can even see it in the comms. Obviously, they're listening to their coach right now, so they're not going to be talking, but you could just see it on Pamba and NJR's face. Like, they don't look like they have the confidence or the energy right now, and I feel like that's always how it is when you see those two inside of the game, inside of the server. They're really kind of just there waiting for their moment to shine. They're waiting for their entries to put them into place, which this game, Spirits and Citizens were doing that. They just were in the position, and then they would lose it away. I mean, even in that 2v1, Pamba won. That was an amazing round for Pamba. Let's use that to snowball the energy, get the momentum up. We need to be able to see them enjoying the time that they're in, they're having a good time and working together with the rest of the team. It just doesn't look like NJR and Pamba are communicating with the rest of the team.
But it's also a bit difficult to do that considering the stage that they've had, the regular stage, and then they're coming in here 2 days ago. They lose that first best-of-3 series. They're now into that lower bracket. I feel like the pressure from the looks of it has really gotten to DZ, which is a scary situation to be in because, like, yes, you lose that first map and it's a best-of-3 series. You still have an opportunity to bounce back. But realistically, can they do that on Chalet?
See, well, this... Wait, is it
Consulate?
On Consulate.
Sorry, I made the mistake in saying Bank. I meant to say they played each other just recently, the stage on Consulate, and where M80 shined was on their defenses. They were able to slow down those attacks, and that's where Darkzero really only found their stride was on their defenses. But what I just talked about going into this matchup, their defenses have lacked very heavily due to those opening engagements. And then only once again, I mean, in 4 maps now that they've played, they've only mustered to come out with 7 defensive wins. It's not looking good for the side of DZ, and it comes down to the simple game of communication, setting up crossfires, understanding the opponent you're playing against, playing into those bans, and using operators to slowly thin and take away at that M80 push.
Yeah, and when we're looking at DZ, I mean, even now, like, the comms don't look like they're too happy, but I feel like you've already had, like, a watch list of things that you wanted to go the right way when it comes to DZ, and I feel like they were only able to tick one of those, and that is Citizen and Spirits being those spearheads. So I feel like when it comes to seeing all of them on the same page, obviously from a comm side, it's not working. The day that they had off yesterday wasn't enough. So really, now that you're down to this final map, realistically, this is a best of 1 in their case. How are they going to be able to come back?
I mean, I think DZ needs almost a SR Spoit getting 4Ks every round. They need a big player to be able to step up and rally behind. Someone who has the energy, whether Nath gets loud or somebody on the team needs to be able to bring the momentum, because you can just see it on their face. I mean, they're just there. It looks like they're just waiting lamps to a slaughter. They're just waiting for their moment to just get it over with.
I mean, get in there.
We've been there, and it's not just on the IGL yet. It's not just on the IGL at this point. It's on every single player to step up and have that moment, and everyone build off that momentum. And that's the biggest thing when your back's against the wall. Hope is a contributing factor here. And with each and every single round that you take, you get hyped. It could be the most simple, boring round, but someone needs to be yelling. Someone needs to be bringing that energy. Because as we're seeing all of their faces on those player camps, they're kind of just waiting for the next game.
Nath is the only one that looks like he's actually listening to what the coach is saying. Pamba looks like he's envisioning, you know, that meme of the picture, that the dude in the war zone just
the 1,000 yards.
Yeah, just 1,000 yards there, exactly. They just look like they're just kind of like lost. They need somebody to be able to rally them back.
Yeah, but Nath historically would be good at doing that, and considering that he is listening, you would hope that this is the time where he really gets to shine and, like, actually show us that he's here for a reason. But honestly, like, looking at, like, we're still looking at the cams from the players of DZ, and it is a little worrying, especially because it feels like the polar opposite of the cameras that we just saw from M80. Because even before map 1, they were singing, they were in there, they were vibing, they were, like, having a great time, and then it's like day and night difference between these two teams.
Exactly.
Not just in the server, but also, like, IRL.
I mean, it might sound silly, but if you're having fun, if you're having a good time, usually your team is going to play better. It doesn't have to always be cutting business and, you know, paint drying on a wall. It really does come down to everyone needs to be able to believe that they can win, and you can see that in the energy. So Darkzero desperately needs that right now.
And it also comes down to this final or second map of this series. It is do or die for DZ. Either they push this all the way to the decider, or they lose Consulate. They lose their spot spot at Munich. They lose the opportunity to get SI points with that as well and cut their season short. DZ has to lock in. M80 is looking for a ticket to the International. We're going to be covering Consulate with our lovely casters, Ollie and Link. So guys, take it away.
Well, it is do or die for Darkzero. Ollie, as we mentioned, top of the show, this will be the first time DZ will miss an international event since Blast entered 2.5 years ago. And given the praise we were leveling on this roster last stage, given the fact that they got second in the stage overall, it seemed like even if it wasn't their time last stage, and even if they didn't win this stage, but they had the pieces to be one of the best teams in North America. And whatever's happened, whatever cause you want to attribute it to, it is just not there right now. And they've got to figure it out on Consulate, where they played M80 earlier this stage, where M80 started on the defense and went up 5 rounds to 1.
It's one of those situations where I don't really want a Munich major where neither of these teams, or where both of these teams aren't able to attend. It's sad enough that we have to leave one behind, and one behind potentially at the end of this map as well. But it's the state that we're in at the moment. I agree with what the desk was saying. I'm a big believer in looking at the player cams and seeing how the players are reacting. I think that the players are the personalities of the scene, and they're very important. These are the people that people can sort of look up to. The characters, they're the people that are funny, the people that make them laugh, the people that make them cry, all those things. So the player cams for me, it's a window into the world. And for DZ at the moment, it just doesn't look like they even believe themselves. It feels like they're just waiting for this to happen to them. And I don't know what there is to be terrified about. It's a game of Siege. They've just got to go in there and give it their best. I really want to see a big clutch round come out of nowhere that enables them to believe a little bit. And it's something for them to get behind and get a little bit hyped over. And let's be honest, on the attack on Consulate, it's probably going to be a clutch round, because this is not an easy map to attack, Lynx.
No, it is not whatsoever. Like I said, last time these two teams met, it was on Consulate. It was during the group stage. It was on Playday 4. M80 start on the defense, go up 5-1, and hey, they drop a few rounds. Play 5 on the opposite side, only win 2 of them, but when you go up 5-1, you only need 2, and they end up winning the game 7-4. Find ourselves, at least for the starting sides, in the same position. And so what can DZ do to make that go right? What can they do to overcome that threshold that we often talk about on maps like Skyscraper and maps like Consulate? Well, the first of 4 Lances goes out. They're not able to hit that initial Electroclaw. 1 in pocket as well for Kino. So we'll continue the trial and error. They, again, miss it. Really trying to find... Oh, no, we've got 3! 3 Lances! We haven't even droned!
Oh, dear. Well, there is 1 Lance left. What are you able to do?
We have a
with
Thatcher, by the way.
Yeah. 1 EMP. Or should I say 3 EMPs, excuse me. They've still got both the exothermics. So, I mean... Is it as bad as it looks? Probably not. But it's a bit of a telegraph as to what their approach is going to be here. Spirits is very likely going to just want to post up with that glass outside the window. Halfway into the round, and Pamba is going to hop in, but he just gets deleted by Diffuser there on the wall.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Gaveni adds on to the pain. There was a Thatcher. Lynx, it's now no longer a thing.
I mean, what do you even say after that? I mean, hey, let's be objective, let's be fair. I imagine reason they didn't want to bring the EMPs. Look, we got 3 C4s, something we've seen DZ and many other teams do. But DZ in particular, they bring the EMPs and throw them during the plant to stop any C4s from detonating. That is, I think as you and I have pointed out, sometimes not the most reliable strategy. But for the viewers curious, that is probably why Citizen did not use any of his EMPs and why they brought the Cali to do that job. The bigger issue really is not droning to find with that Electroclaw whatsoever. The first one, hey, I'll give you that. You got 4. You can throw 1 out. It's fine. But not droning whatsoever to figure that Electroclaw is. It's a small thing, and yet, look at where we are. It burns a lot of time, gives M80 the ability to position themselves, accomplishes nothing for Darkzero. Now we've got 35 seconds left. 3v5 push in through, I was about to say server. Diffuser gone undroned because, hey, of course he has. It's late round. Darkzero don't have the resources to spare to just start throwing drones. They don't got the manpower. They don't got the time. And they sure as hell don't have round one. M80, I don't even think needed to really put half of their potential into that one, as things are basically stopped at the beginning of the round at Garage Wall.
So weird as well, because mid-floor is such a vital piece of the puzzle for attacking that basement. You need to get into piano. You need to get the floor open. It's a very checklist. And then as soon as you push frontside fails, well, you've got no option, but you need to push backside. And because there's no vert, because there's been no pressure, there's no consequence to defenders just saying, oh, yep, no worries, I'll watch the back. Turn around, don't have to worry about anything other than the angle that you're holding. As demonstrated by Diffuser there, as he's able to pick up 2 to close the round.
Deploying jammer.
Kind of a round to forget. You know, I don't think we can judge DZ too heavily on that. A little bit of a mistake in the early portion of it, and we clearly didn't see the full intention of that round. But it's certainly not a trend that can continue, because that would not be befitting of this team that we know is extremely capable.
5 seconds left before insertion.
But for whatever reason, they haven't got their mojo at the moment. This, to me, looks like a better lineup. They've got that soft breach. They've got Spirits on the Blackbeard. They're going to be able to lock off those flanks with the Nomad. They can open things up with Ace. They've got a little bit of everything here. There's no heavy reliance on anything too cheesy or anything too unpredictable. All fairly standard stuff, and I mean, that's a great bit of value early on to be found there from Nath, just getting rid of one of the Goyo canisters. They know that that top floor is going to be needed to be cleared. As M80 are so good at focusing around, either letting these teams in and letting them get the plant down, or looking to hold on from the very start. You are going to have to try and open that top floor, and something else you're going to have to open is this yellow wall. Not going to be too easy there as the Selmas are going to eventually go off, but I mean, how is this happening again and again?
I don't even know. Citizen's hopping in. I think he just got shot through the soft. I think he actually just got shot through his own breach all the way from Spiral side. I like the aggression from M80. Call comes out, the Citizens killed the guy on yellow. You peek his own breach, put him down to 1 HP. I like the idea. NGR finding a really nice gap. All right, we got something here. Gunner ratting in turn. And again, this is just the unfortunate situation. He can hop up. Oh, what a reaction. We're back in it. NGR falls, but Darkzero at least have made me believe for a little bit longer. Diffuser forced down below as we actually have a ball game on our hands. It's a time to open this vertical angle too.
Time is something that DZ have quite a lot of at the moment. A couple of breaches. It's very doable. Diffuser in hand as well. Nath flicking some drones downstairs. Can maybe look to reposition some of his own. That line of sight should enable Citizen to get rid of the bulletproof camera. Mute jammers are going to cause a slight bit of problem here, though. And M80, masters of this post plant. We know that it's very viable at the moment for Hot and Cold to be saying, right, I've got a C4. We've got a Valkyrie camera inside of Piano. I'll play below. You call the plant. Boom at the right time. You know the score. Diffuser, he's pretty split up from it at the moment, so I would guess that that is going to be the strategy right now. And as the time continues to tick, DZ need to be cautious with what they feel is safe ground.
Ooh. Forces Citizen off, but C4 doesn't work and the black eye camera gone. So the strategy will be entirely on Diffuser from up above. Tips his hand a little bit with that shotgun shot, and I just don't think the angle's going to give. Citizen 1 HP around the corner, and oh, he just lands it! I was about to say, oh, it doesn't work, but Diffuser makes it happen, but only 7 seconds to go. Does he have the angle? Can he find the little bit? Nate falls off in turn. The round's gone anyway. He'll rotate over to A, but Diffuser, he's looking. He's got to rotate. Got to get to the other angle. Oh, no, he reconsiders. He falls back, thinks he's still inside of the other site, and as a result, Nath gets off. He can fall back to the hallway, and this 417 packs a punch. Low HP doesn't matter, just 2 shots and Diffuser's dead. around the corner, waiting, no information for the castle. Gives his own position away, makes it across, fires some shots, but at least made it in. Oh, gets a little bit of an angle. Knows he's far down the hallway, so he'll start with the defuse. Draw Nathan, half the round gone. Does the Twitch have an angle? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't! Nath completely baits diffuser, and then the youngster gives Nath a taste of his own medicine. How about that for 2 in a row?
Fox was talking about a big round, a big play that the team could rally behind and get hyped about. That was it. That was the opportunity for Darkzero to make something happen. A fairly scrappy round. No one really having the upper hand throughout any of it. 3 versus 3 into a 2 versus 3 into a 2 versus 1. It was fairly straightforward. Nice trades. But for Nath to give that away there, I believe there was a drone inside a piano as well. Now, I can only imagine that it wasn't pointed in a great direction for him. And the plant spot was far from ideal. Nath got that plant down with less than a second left to go in the round. So he's not had a great deal of time or ability to pick a good plant spot based on the current climate and the current state of that bomb site, where the vertical is, where angles are open, where's going to be safe, where isn't. He's just got to try and get it down. And he does that. But the post plant wasn't very well considered at all. And hey, Diffuser's a pro. He doesn't fake.
Oh, he's real right now. 5-0 at the moment. Only player on M80 with no deaths so far. I think my takeaway from that round is exactly what you said. That was the moment for DZ to get back into it. You can just see it, right? 3v5, Nathan now 1v1. You can see them fist bumping. You can see them getting hype. And both we and they were denied it. And so Spirits, he's found a gap right now. He's found a little bit of movement, and yet right there, downed again. Finished off perhaps? No, he'll just escape around the corner. But Han Cole even dedicates a C4 to that. They've got one to spare. But NGR goes down too. How many rounds have we seen like this so far? Not just this map, this series. 3v5 to start. I get how Spirits died. How the hell did NJR die? Where the hell did he die? What happened to get us to this point?
Feels like a lash out round, doesn't it? You have Spirits on the Ash, just doing exactly that, just lashing out, trying to make something happen nice and quickly, running in through sight, running in to try and get down service stairs. Pamba, as the sledge knocking at the door of the site. There's maybe more work that could have been done leading up to this. Could have led them for a little bit more success. Now, is it a turntail? Are they going to go upstairs? Looks like that's the focus. Nath at least leading that charge. Dokubi Call primed and ready now. That can get sent off. But M80. They might be getting a Dokubi Call sent out, but there's no reason to move.
Oh, okay. Okay, you can see the plan. That's a flank watch up top, and Citizens and Canva clear down below, but I don't know what got accomplished with that Dokubi call that, couldn't have got accomplished with a drone. I mean, we still got no information. Kinos has killed 2 people who've walked in front of him. Whole lot of nothing right now for Darkzero. Quite literally a whole lot of nothing. We got a clown car coming in, and ill-advised to M80, but Lord knows DZ aren't going to punish him right now. I mean, what do we got there? We got a Dokubi call to facilitate a rotation down bottom yellow, only to run in front of the defenders, who we've not droned, and die anyway.
One was clay pigeon shooting.
One of them had a drone in pocket. We had 1 minute, 20 seconds left. Like, I'm sorry, but what are we doing?
It's at this point that I ask myself the question, which team should we be sending to the major? Which team is going to represent North America the best? And the answer is very clear in my eyes at the moment. With the stamp of siege that we're seeing out of Darkzero at the moment,
Are we even taking a timeout?
there's nothing to indicate that they are deserving of that major spot. Like, you just don't usually see engagements like this. Do you know what I mean? I look at how many bodies are in such a compacted space there. I fail to believe that there's any significant strategy going into that round. It literally just looks like every man for themselves. Like, we're just all going to push this. That's the plan.
I mean,
I guess credit to M80 for dealing with it, right?
No, of course. And hey, you know, we've done a lot of, it's been a lot of focus on Darkzero failing, but let's acknowledge right now, M80 look great. M80 are doing very well, winning the game in front of them, and if they win this 4 more rounds, they make it to Munich. Team that fell short in playoffs, didn't make EWC, and I know how much of a heartbreaker that was for everyone involved, but hot and cold, and I think hot and cold in particular, Fabian as well, but really everybody on the roster had the potential to do it, just fall short in a couple of choked games. And so to make it would be great off the back of this victory, especially to beat DZ doing it. I mean, sure, even if it's a bit of a weakened DZ, it's still Darkzero. That name carries a lot of cachet. They've been in this game for 6 years, majority of its life cycle at this point. That carries a lot of weight. And this M80 roster, who is still, even though under a different name, still trying to channel some of that Manchester magic. We're waiting to see it and to get an opportunity to do it at another major with M in the title, by the way, and Manchester and Munich. It's exactly what you want to see.
You're clutching at straws.
Double M.
I thought you were at least going to say, like, another European major, maybe.
Well, European and double M.
I mean, we need to find a third thing, because they always happen in 3s, right?
Can't, because UK...
Double shields.
That's 2.
Not 3, because Blitz is banned and Fuse hasn't been played, which I would have been mad about. I kind of like the lineup.
Oh!
It looks like NJR does as well. 2 kills as Diffuser and Gaveni both get caught pushing where they kind of don't belong, right?
Where they kind of don't belong, but honestly, I kind of want to give credit to DZ there. I think that is a well thought out clear. We see roamers on the top floor, Darkzero flood in, one guy falling back, and they have a reaction. They say, hey, we think there's 1 or 2 up top. Go flank down Visa, one of their retreats. We'll see if we can catch them. And they do. Get them both. NJR pieces up Gavini and Diffuser. Now we have Kino walking out. Oh!
Okay, Kino. Okay.
You're not allowed to do that.
This guy goes from having barbed wire in his hand when he's got a shield walking down Spiral to just doming spirits in a wanna.
Activating a terminal insert.
Now the backstab. Gunnar got flashed, by the way, didn't even move. Gunnar is literally, what a Chad. One around the corner. Oh no, they check. Oh, the moment's gone. Gets Pamba. Melee in the process, but not the next one. Nafe not falling today. His DPI is well entrapped. Now to 1BX for Kino. One shot with the revolver with you Citizen in. He's not tracked anymore, but Nafe's hunting him down, pushing him into garage, isolated. That's the man with the diffuser. Shield in his way, should be the end around the corner. Kino is hitting some nasty shots with the TCSG that stage. But there's a smile on Nafe's face, and that's the most important part. I was concerned about the lack of a tactical. But they win their first attack, and that is the most important part.
If I was Kenny now, I would take the tactical timeout and just yell at them for 45 seconds about how they're the best team in the world. Because that is what they need to hear right now. They've just had a couple of things go their way in a game which it really hasn't been going their way, but they've not really been helping themselves in that endeavor either. But a few nice things happen there. A couple of players line up for NJR. They're able to push them down Visa stairs. NJR's there for the catch. Big tick in a box. They're able to push down the spiral stairs. Kino, it's a live shot. It happens. But again, it's dealt with. Big round for Darkzero. You don't need too many rounds on the attack on Consulate. It's not quite to the extreme that we talk about Skyscraper, but it's probably the second hardest map in the pool to attack onto on any given day. DZ is certainly finding those struggles here and now. There's a very good chance that they can start to salvage this. I just hope we don't get baited in the same way we did on Chalet, where DZ showed, I mean, it's still one of the best rounds we've seen tonight, by the way, that DZ rush round onto Bar and Games. Regardless of how DZ have played for the rest of the evening, in my opinion, still one of the best rounds of Siege we've seen. I just hope we don't get baited here the same way that we got baited on Chalet, and that they've got a little bit more substance to back this up with.
That's the hope from this round. It's my biggest desire. And hey, again, Constance is one of those maps. You get 2, you're fine. 2 attacks, you are chilling. And so even if it's not a good one, even if it's just another, they'll be feeling good, but we want it to be good. We want it to look like the Darkzero that this team was in stage 1, the Darkzero that we feel that they can be. Especially with M80 playing quite well individually at the moment, looking decent together. It's not only a good time to do it to recover your own standing, but this is a good team. To start winning good, convincing, clean rounds against a team like M80. We're going to start restoring that confidence piece by piece and round by round. Intel gathered early on. Diffuser tracked by some of those Bs. So it's Gunner to back off down yellow stairs. More go out. A lot of utility expended, in fact. I mean, we got, what, 3 Bs, multiple smokes. Spirits hops in soon after, but there's a first floor defense, by the way. So now as we're hopping in, players getting blinded by their own flashes, but these things happen in the chaos and the tumult of a Rainbow Six round. And what can you find of it, Darkzero? More and more utility being spent. All of Nafe's primary. Most of the flash is gone. Pamba finally gets Kino, yet it's traded out, yet it's nothing. M80 able to hold on, hot and cold with a big 2 kills. And Darkzero invests so much on that clear, so much on that yellow entry. And all they get is CEO when it's vacated. Spirits has made his way into the site, but he's got no support.
Not a great position, really, that Darkzero find themselves in right now. Down and out on utility. They've got plenty of deathmark trackers, or at least one. Plenty of targets, I should say. A Citizen can sort of gently tap on the door to site. They need a little bit of information to work alongside this.
Let's have a look.
Valkyrie camera up as well. Hot and cold in his trademark position below. That has now been found. NGR, big kill onto Diffuser, but immediately traded once again. These numbers are just going to keep going M80's way. Citizen can recover the kit. No active diffusers, but there is a lot of information. BP should be easy to deal with. We still have a Valkyrie camera up inside a west corridor, but that isn't going to help too much right now. Citizen, he has a little bit more time to figure out a post plant this time. Can look to plant in a slightly better location, but Hot and Cold forces him off. Not allowed to get that plant down. And whereas we've seen historically M80 happy to play retake games, they are not going to let it get that close this time.
And the MVP of round 5 right there, Hot and Cold with that big double as it seemed Darkzero were picking up steam, get the opening pick up top, and while they don't find much more up there, it seems it might have been a double hop in through art window. And even if it wasn't a double, that's certainly where the player with the diffuser went down. And that's just as important. But it seemed like a double. Hot and Cold gets both, and that just blunts all the momentum, doesn't it? It kind of makes you feel silly if you're Darkzero. Not that even you necessarily did anything wrong. I mean, we certainly did see what happened. Maybe Hot and Cold hit 2 life shots. Who knows? But once they go down, that play doesn't work out, and the diffuser's in the site, in the hands of the defense. That entry upstairs, you are banking a lot on the advantage you have against those players on the second floor, netting you more kills later on. And what M80 have done very well so far, Ollie, I know you commended them for them earlier, is just playing passive when they need to. They are not giving away openings, which is really impressive when you consider that they've made a habit out of the past couple games, even the one they lost last night, of recovering rounds in which they've lost advantages. And pairing that today with a seeming inability to choke man advantages most of the time. It's been really quite impressive.
No, M80 are just playing a really nice brand of Siege tonight, and it's a brand that will work against a lot of teams internationally as well. It isn't tailored specifically for Darkzero. They've got a very clear identity, it seems, developing in this M80 camp at the minute. And it's great to see. There's no consistency on the side of Darkzero at the moment, and that's the biggest problem. NJR, it took NJR to get a 3K for them to come away with round number 4. And one of those was the opening pick. Now, the opening pick hasn't meant too much because M80 more than capable of fighting from behind, as we saw them have to do so many times over on Chalet. But again, it was another one of those situations, Lynx. It's a weird stat, and it doesn't mean a lot. It's maybe just suspicion at this point. But Pamba was involved in that opening duel. He got the opening pick onto Kino, and then DZ go on to lose the round. It's just another one of those situations where you think, what is it about that that's causing a bit of desync on the side of DZ? Because there's got to be a bit of a correlation to it. It's happening too often for it to just be coincidence.
I agree. It's just there's often stats are just useful to like, even if it's not necessarily indicative, it's evocative, right, of the problem. You get the feeling and the connotation associated with it. See the entry right here. Double soft breach, Buck and Sledge looking to hunt down these defenders. But M80 playing the game plan they've done so far, just backing up. Not pushing things too far. Cavini flashed in the process. Diffuser will swing around the corner. Oh my god. Lasered through the wall. He'll have to back up as his support falls. One part of the duo will go down, but Diffuser unpunished. Zombie for Buck? I don't know. That's pretty good. But as the C4 goes down, that was very, very well timed with Gunner going down as well, but it's entirely separate. Spirits playing with that shotgun. He had a good play with it, rushing up solar stairs on Chalet. Have one running down Visa stairs here. Information as we see one just running around Visa, and JR put to low health. So Diffuser aims to go in for at least the finish on that Hibana, but so close. Oh, he's got to run like hell, and unfortunately he stays much too long. There's another through the floor. There's a two-piece with the M10 last time, but it seemed kind of a long shot before, but Ollie, I see a 2-4 half in Darkzero's future.
It really should be, shouldn't it? They're 4-2 up. Yep, Spirits and NJR are a little bit low, but so's Kino. They've got time. They've got drones. They've got Deimos. There's no excuse for not converting this. They have control of the kit. It's one of those situations where we have to see them eloquently put an end to this round. Citizen just watching the flank at the moment, hot and cold, as we so often find him in these positions. Doesn't really need to do too much at the moment. Kino should be able to give plenty of information away as to what's going on and where this push is mounting from.
Oh, no.
But hot and cold, look at his position right now. He could find two. He's going to do it as well. The Deathmark track comes in too late. If he finds this kill, it could be wraps.
What the... what the... Okay, that's one of the more bizarre endings to a round I've seen in a bit. But hey, Darkzero get it. It just still goes to show that even when they're winning, there's still missteps being made. We had drones. We had Deathmarks again, and Hot and Cold finds himself in another gap. A one-off, it happens. But these one-offs keep happening and adding up, and at some point it becomes a trend. The headline, though, is Darkzero get two. Get two attacks on their side of Consulate. Better than the half they got against M80 last time, and they were good for quite a few defenses there. It was a 7-4 victory for M80, but Darkzero at least got 3 out of the 5 defenses that they played. So here, obviously, if the same trend holds, M80 would win 7-5, but it goes to show that Darkzero have a game to play on Consulate and on these defenses. We'll have to see how M80 have adapted on their attack, how Darkzero have adapted on their defenses. M80 deciding to not let anything get silly. A zombie ban makes sense, but following up with the Vigil, that's 2025 for you.
Very rarely see a Vigil ban. What a round this was. There's a world where Hot and Cold continues to swing there and gets the third. It was so... I don't know if you could see him, if you got a good glimpse. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot going on in that moment. He's literally just got a double. But if he swings and gets that third as well... Hopefully, DZ can rally behind that, though. It shouldn't be a round that you necessarily have to get hyped over, a 4 versus 2. But when it ends like that, yeah, it's worth getting hyped about.
It's worth laughing about, I think.
They need anything that they can get at the moment.
It's one of those, like... I don't know if you need to start screaming, and I say laugh about, like, you know, we saw moments yesterday, like when Shopify went down 6-0, like everybody starts laughing. Have a moment like that. Just kind of like keep the spirits high. Just be like, that was weird. Now, I would understand if the faces looked dour, as we fortunately have Consulate defenses to play ahead of us. I don't think the attack nor the defense is often ready at how stagnant of a game this can be on this side, on this map. We'll see what both teams have in store for us. Shield on shield action, it seems, for the initial bit. It's a glass blitz ban for Darkzero. Fuser with a hot drone in front of him, looking to take initial control up Spiral. No, just firing the cam initially, which is perfectly fine.
That Vigil ban is still scratching my brain a little bit. Amber played it quite a bit. previously. But I don't know that it was like that big of a deal. Maybe it's just something to knock Pamba a little bit and give M80 a little bit more freedom. Certainly easier to find players that aren't Vigil on the drones. But yeah, it does just seem a little bit strange. Spirit's going to be on the Clash. We'll be able to pop that Goyo canister and deter Diffuser from aggressively pushing up. Look at Gunner's position right now. He's got a perfect backstab on Spirits. Oh, Spirits just gets some fortunate time in there, reactivates the shield. It will be enough of a gap there for Gunner to get out of dodge as well. Can cover his track with a bit of bees and let himself know that, or give himself some surety that he's not going to immediately get pushed there. But a little bit of a probe and a prod there from M80, but they haven't really gained too much aside from admin control at the moment.
No, it's a point a lot of teams struggle with on attacking this, well, I was going to say this top floor, but at least right now this top floor extension is it's actually a middle floor defense. I think M80 might be trying to cut their losses at this point, given the struggles they've had. But remember, teams like to play vert nowadays. M80 in particular. One of the first teams I saw, though, a couple iterations ago, really enjoyed playing this top down, and it's something they'll have to deal with. These ROU projectors, these light screens from the Sens might look nice, but NGR can just peer right through them. And that glass has been banned. That's one-way vision. So we'll see if Hot and Cold can get in, put this diffuser down. First kill goes M80's way. Citizen sent sky high, and there's not a single bit of counterplay. I thought Hot and Cold maybe at least take some damage beforehand, but it's only coming off the diffuser that he faces any trouble. But with the shield player going down and Gunner on 1 HP, there's a clear way in. Gavin's keeping things under control on the top floor, but what angles do they have? Pamazoo and Spirits taking control of the mid. The defenders and attackers have fully swapped positions. But we saw Hot and Cold get this diffuse down in the right spot. Shield in front of the diffuser. I like this from Spirits, but diffuser walking in. The exact right play. Cuts down Nath as well. And so Pamazoo's retake, meant to distract, now has to be everything for Darkzero. And it all crumbles into dust. That round is a struggle for M80. 2.5 minutes of nothing. And yet finally they get in. Finally they put the diffuser down and are 1 round closer to making Munich.
I'm really surprised that Nathan didn't get on that diffuser straight away with Spirits covering him on the Clash. Obviously, diffuser was obviously not too far away, given that he was able to pick up both of those kills only a few seconds later. And I'm not entirely convinced there was enough time to get that counter diffuse off, but it feels like it was worth a go. Easy just looking a little bit flat there in the retake. And again, that's without even calling into question how that plant goes down in the first place. You've got a Clash. The plant really oughtn't be going down in the middle of the site like that. Hot and Cold certainly showing some bold character to get himself straight in there. Kangaroo Kenny choosing now to bring that tactical timeout. We've never seen this energy get above 5 or 6 out of 10 tonight for DZ. And it doesn't look like it's going to, honestly. Not unless we maybe get to a third map. Everything is very level at the moment.
I do like that from Gavini, by the way. Anticipating the anticipating the retake attempt from NJR, only swinging around. I mean, that's just great timing anyway, but vision from M80 is good too. I know you mentioned not seeing the Clash on site, but I think part of the reason they went is just, you know, they see the Clash up above. Might be a weird play from DZ, but gotta admit, good call from M80, good opportunity spotting. It was
great from M80.
Oh yeah.
The problem is on DZ, if you've got the Clash and it's playing it extended like that, there needs to be a little bit more of a contingency plan for if the site immediately gets pushed and how you try and leverage that Clash to help you. Otherwise, you've just got a shield with an average gun.
Oh, of course. The point I'm making is just you got this really problematic, like I guess like not even. I don't know the exact word I'm looking for. Basically, you've got DZ giving openings and M80 finding every single one. Not even like in terms of kills, just like strategic openings. Like, oh, they're a bit bloated up top. All their powerful operators are up top. It seems like if we just walk into the site, there's no Clash. If we just have somebody up top to swing the Warden once he takes those vertical angles, we should be good. That's exactly what M80 thought. They implemented it, and it works out perfectly. It's just that deadly combo of DZ slipping up and M80 saying, all right, I got you there, got you there, got you there. It's difficult for any team to work their way out of, and just unfortunate that Darkzero, they're the ones down 2-5. They're the ones down 1-0, and now find themselves 2 rounds away from missing their first international event in a hell of a long time. Spirits looking to maybe get a little aggro. Will shoot the drone that hops down. Oh, hot and cold. A little sloppy right there as he just hops in right after the drone. Doesn't even wait to hear that it's been shot. And I guess this round is done.
Okay, we've not seen a minute, and there's only Gunnar alive. A rare lapse in judgment from Hot and Cold and M80 in general. We don't really see them make those sort of careless plays, or at least things that aren't super well calculated. Is that going to be the first of many exit frags, or is it going to be the kill that propels M80 onto a series point? It's going to be the first. Nathan, the C4 from below. Timeout, clearly good for something there for Darkzero.
Not the vibes.
The vibes are off.
Yeah.
I think we've just got to come to accept that.
We've literally...
But they can still do it, you know?
That's true. It's just like, you've literally just punted M80 into the atmosphere. You have demolished them. And what I see is, all right, good job.
Yeah. And the most casual fist bump ever.
Yeah.
Attackers have discovered the location
I mean,
of the
like,
bomb.
Virtus Pro pre-Pasha was getting more hype over that.
But you think the least hype team has ever been?
It's gotta be pre-Pasha Virtus Pro, right? I mean, Dan would get hype, but like he was literally the only guy.
Yeah, I probably agree.
10 seconds remaining.
Because I'm trying to think.
I don't think if there was another EU team.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I feel like there's been some pretty stoic EU teams in the past.
There have.
Attackers are
There've been a lot of
moving to
those.
defuse the bomb.
Maybe like a Finnish team. Like you go way back when.
Because that's always been the trademark for NA. It's been like a bit of whooping, bit of hollering, bit of keeping the vibes high.
But we're not loud.
A lot
I
of
don't know
trash
what you're talking
talking.
about.
Oh, it definitely has.
No, us Americans loud? Surely not. Doesn't seem right. Ooh. Little double shield action at the moment. Hot and Cold going for a bit of a walkabout with diffusers and the spear at his back.
Tango located. Second floor. Activating surge!
Ooh.
I really don't know how I feel about these kind of rushy rounds that M80 are pulling out here. We've spoken so much about how they've been giving us really well-measured siege. I suppose they're at an equal man count right now. They've taken Spirits down. Kino's also fallen. They've still got Hot and Cold as a shield to play behind. Definitely putting a lot of pressure on Darkzero in the early portions of these rounds.
Oh.
Looks like they're going to burst into sight now as well.
That's what I mean. This might not be well measured, but they're reading the moments. They recognize that the roam is so concentrated, but the intel's lacking. NGR catches one out. Now the Monty alone inside of the site. Gavini losing a lot of HP. NGR is likely given the call, and unfortunately the moment's gone. There was a very real opportunity. A very real opportunity. And Darkzero shut it down, and you could start to see just a little creep of a smile on Pamazoo's face as he gives that fist bump. A little bit of hope starting to enter the eyes of Darkzero. 2 defenses in a row, and 2 defenses, by the way, where they have well and good smashed M80.
Just feels a little bit off-brand for M80 in what we've seen tonight, though. Do you not think?
No, I would definitely agree.
Like, M80's had a very healthy lead coming into this. We know that attacks can be difficult on Consulate, and we've seen them attempt a couple of times there quite a cheese play. Shields, Finkers, trying to make something happen. It's not necessarily, it's not a bad thing, it's not terrible, but I feel like they could have better success just dismantling DZ, because DZ are rolling with the punches right now. And they've got, you know, whatever we can say about Darkzero tonight, they've still got shooters on their team. They have still got some seriously talented individuals. And if you just give them gunfights and just put bodies in the way, they're just gonna dome. They're just gonna shoot people.
Yeah, rounds like that, they can win those. Like, come on. Let's not be disrespectful.
I think we need to give a little bit more of a better account of ourselves. I just don't feel like M80 have done too much setup in the previous couple of rounds. It's not like we've seen them vie for a bit of map control and, you know, really go for a bit of a utility exchange. It kind of has just been brute forcing things. And it's in some ways some of the things that we saw Darkzero attempting as well. You know, just trying to flood bomb sites and trying to overpower and make something happen, spot a gap. I feel like M80 are running headlong at gaps that are either a little bit narrow or didn't really exist in the first place.
I think that round's a really good example because, like, they were right. Absolutely was a gap, but it seemed fueled more by vibes and intel because, you know, I feel like if SSG's there, they know NGR's there, they get that kill diffuser down. There, they know there's a gap, but beyond that, wow.
Yeah.
Gunner with a great reaction. Might not be a gap created, but it's a 5v4 with literally nothing invested aside from a little bit of time. See Pamazu push deep inside of admin, aided by Spirits' information gathering from below, who I know for a fact has not been droned right now. The diffuser could spot him with that scanner if he wanted. Deep pre-fire around the corner. I was about to say, M80's intel gathering has unfortunately not been the best in these past couple rounds, and also I think we have to acknowledge there, definitely a case of Darkzero also thinking on their feet. I mean, the pulse down below was completely unexpected. C4 sends 2 sky high. Darkzero still got some game left in him.
Amber looking for a little bit of aggression here as well. Not happy with just a man count advantage. Wanting even more. But Hot and Cold isn't going to give him that chance. Gunner can start to move through. Real close range engagement, but oh, the Banshee catches him out there. He's, what do? You've got to shoot the Banshee, and Nath just uses it as the perfect audio cue. Kino and Hot and Cold with a lot of work to do here. 2 versus 4. Still got a minute. No diffuser. Diffuser now. Hot and Cold has recovered. And start to try and move through where previous members of M80 have failed. But with this top floor clear not being complete just yet, I worry that the Blackbeard alone isn't going to be enough. And it certainly won't be. Pamba and NJR with 1 apiece to close it out there. Surely now, DZ have to start believing in themselves. That's 3 really good rounds on the bounce. It's the best thing that they could have asked for. Nath he's hiding a smile right now. He's got his hand over his mouth.
And they should be excited. Not only Darkzero playing well, but, I mean, let's be honest. These 3 M80 attacks have looked really unconvincing. Really unconvincing. I mean, of course, you know, we all know how rounds 8 and 9 went. I mean, I'd kind of lump those in with the forgettable round we saw from Darkzero at the beginning, Ollie. Like, all right, not much we can take away from that. You know, it's not working. But that round, I think there's no better way to kind of explain what happened than the IQ running into Visa and not only failing to see the pulse, dying to Pulse's C4 along with one of her teammates who she let in. I mean, like, come on, guys. I get things happen. I understand. But you're bringing an IQ. Why are you bringing an IQ? And that's not me saying why isn't questioning it. You bring an IQ for one of 2 reasons. Is there a Valkyrie or is there a Pulse? Sure, there's some other ones. But those are the 2 operators that every person who's picking IQ, it's like that individual, and guess what? You banned the last one. So you know, if you're bringing an IQ, I gotta spot those black eye cameras. I gotta keep an eye out for those heartbeat scanners. And more importantly, I gotta keep an eye out for those C4s. And we do none of it? Maybe it's a case of not giving diffuser IQ, but come on. That is the example of kind of the sloppiness we've seen creep into M80's play in rounds 8, 9, and 10. And DZ proving that, hey, we've got problems. Trust me, we got problems. We're not a bad team. If you're going to give us rounds like this, we are going to beat you, and we're going to beat you hard.
5 seconds remaining.
I feel like Fabian would have said something similar in that timeout, but it might not have been as nice.
It mightn't. We probably could not have played it on stream.
We'd have had the beat button working overtime.
We had to call Parker in to get the B button. Maybe like somebody was sending Morse code with how often he'd have to press it.
Scanning for electronics.
5-5. A good time for a timeout for DZ as well, because they, of course, get an opportunity to speak. And it can just be more of the same. You're doing well at the moment. Spirits maybe could go for a little bit of a C4 drop there, but it wouldn't give them any success. Instead, Gaveni this time is going to be trying to jump into that scanner, but if Pulse can't see the IQ, it's going to be tricky for the IQ to see the Pulse. We will get a bit of information here. Pulse fantastic on Consulate. There's only a handful of maps really that you'll see a lot of Pulse played. A lot of it is because you just need a good early indication of which side this push is coming from. Is it admin across? Is it CEO across? Where are these players coming from? Hot and Cold punishes Pambazu there on some aggression. Pamba tried that in the previous round multiple times as well. And Hot and Cold is more than ready for it here. Oh, Spirits. Surely not the double dip.
No, surely not. He doesn't know it, but he doesn't know it, but it'd especially be ill-advised now that Gunnar and Gavini, and Keener have all hopped in the building. Boogie Drone will also reveal that it's a top-down tape, but I can see the calculus being run in Spirit's mind, Ollie. Sure, he's Pulse, but surely M80 with the problems they've had, are they going to drone connector when they've got admin control? That's the big concern right now. Because Spirits is in one of those spots that I really do think... Oh, no, he ran away. All right.
Hey, he's doing the right thing. He's running back to site. He's got his C4.
I respect that
sorry,
heavily.
He's running back to basement. He's still got an important part to play here. NJR and Nath both have C4s, and they're going to need a little bit of guidance. There is a bulletproof inside of Tellers. But the pulse scanner is going to give them that extra element. Boogies can now be used to start providing a little bit of sound cover and further opening up this floor. DZ have really consolidated themselves onto the site here. But they've not got too long to try and hold on for. 35 seconds should be fairly doable right now, especially with the kit that they've got available to them.
Should be. It seemed like Citizen was contemplating a flank, but instead decides maybe to try to flank on the horizontal instead of the vertical. Hot and Cold makes the first attempt. It's going to be a lot of reattempts just given the way this site goes. Oh, both C4s land. Beautiful. Best 2 out of 3 is exactly what you want here. NJR with a third. Seems like we might have a map 3 in store after all. 4 in a row for Darkzero, and you see the hope creeping back in. M80, one more shot to have a shot at closing it out at 2.
Spirits has played a blinder there. There is so much temptation to run out. And we know that he would have likely been safe because all the M80 players were inside. But he has made such a good call in getting himself back down to site, providing a bit of information for those C4s. And look at what happens. You get 2 kills off the back of those C4s. He's still in his heartbeat scanner as it's a 4 versus 1. Like, he's still providing information as to where Diffuser is. He wasn't needed for the gun. He wasn't needed to get kills. He just needed to play that information game. And it worked out beautifully. Darkzero, what a comeback we've seen so far on Consulate. I just hope for their sakes that they can get it over the line and stick themselves into a straight best of 1 over on Cafe. Because at the minute, that's what they deserve with the way that they've played. They have really turned things around on Consulate. And in the same breath, where we've credited M80, and we credited M80 a lot, by the way, on Chalet, I don't feel like they're worthy of that same level of credit here on Consulate.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
No.
Starting shock drone.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame, really, to start to kind of see this collapse get into play. Normally I don't often reference text on broadcast, but Gabe did just send me something that I do think could be prescient. He said, and I quote, actually I'll pull it up here. Gabe said, hope is a scary thing and M80 need to shut it down right now. And honestly, I think that's kind of the best thing. Because Darkzero looked demoralized. M80 looked on top of the world, both in terms of how they were playing and also in terms of their vibes. But now they've let Darkzero get comfortable. Now that they've let them get settled in, they've done the worst thing possible, and that's make them feel like they've got a chance. And if a best of 1 on Cafe's in their future, I know there's one team in the lobby more eager for that than anything else in the world right now. The Rome, pretty heavy one, in fact, Ollie. We got players up top. We got players on the middle floor. Gunnar walks in through the beepers. I know Citizen. Those keen ears. He's gonna play patiently and wait to see if Gunnar overextends.
A little bit of a face-off going down here as well. Citizen, he will find that kill onto Gunnar. His patience is rewarded here. An opening pick for Darkzero. When it matters the most. Kino and Diffuser now just got to dance around this site player. They've already got themselves quite deep here, Lynx.
Ooh, they have, but what the hell is this? Darkzero! We're overcooking it! We just don't gotta commit like that! I get the 4v4 sucks, but what have we learned? It's never over until it's over. And they know where NJR is. Kino just spotted him. He'll reconfirm the visual. And what did we have? We had Cafe in the palm of our hands. We had a 5v4. I get dropping one. But snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That is their fate in round 12 as Kino mocks him, laughs in his face as it slips away, and M80 push it to OT with one more shot at finishing this in 2.
I think that's the round that M80 needed right there, not only because it keeps them in the game, but this felt pretty sewn up. It felt almost guaranteed at the end of Chalet. And DZ have been really working hard in the background to make this happen and to get themselves into this position. And it feels like just as they start to get a handle of things, just as they start to climb that mountain, they slip down again. Still not over. Still a chance for us to see all 3 maps. Real aggressive play from Pambazoo there.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
Even if he gets that kill, he gets back inside. Like, he should be cut off very soon after. Blessing in disguise for Darkzero, I guess, that they're starting off on the defense here with the way that those attacking rounds have gone. 4-2 halves through and through. Now, sometimes we do see it switch. Sometimes we do see a game that has been fairly attacker or defender-sided throughout regulation. When we get into the overtime, it often flips because you've seen those sites a good number of times, and, well, professional teams should be able to adapt at some point, so there's always chance for it to change when we get into an OT. Speaking of change, well, new additions being brought this time as well. Mainly the Capcan from Citizen. Going to be trying to essentially catch out M80s. They have often moved quite quickly in the early part of the round. See a fairly heavy concentration of them over toward the yellow side at the moment. They're probably going to get themselves up onto the roof and hatch a plan from there.
One person in particular, I imagine, whether Citizen knew it or not, will be the main target for these EDDs. It's going to be Gunnar on that Nook. Going to be lurking around, creeping. As the pushes have just not been working for M80 consistently. I mean, let's be honest. Big reason they got that last round was Darkzero just swinging outside of the building. So we still need to see something a bit more convincing for M80. They are not back into it whatsoever. So maybe adding a bit of flexibility. Maybe trying to find that gap, see a little space in between. Could be the recipe they need. And if not, you've always got Keen on the backbeard as a follow-up or as a fallback plan. It's a split side defense at the moment. M80, I honestly like this, Ali. We've not seen anything, but it's feeling like Chalet, where they were taking a lot of time to set up.
It's a similar approach, really, from Darkzero, isn't it? They've got spirits on the heartbeat scanner. They've got a lot of C4s. That's going to be the win condition right now. M80 have got to navigate around that. They have the IQs. They should be able to find out where the pulse is. Ooh, quick engagement there. Nath sends the C4 out, but already the player from M80 has pushed in deep and is just going to take full advantage of Nath laid prone.
Ooh, Vini getting into Diffuser, ready for Panbo around the corner. M80 much more like on Chalet. Take a long time to set up, make us think you've got no idea what's going on. And even though Spirits might spot 3 people there, they've got control of the site, and 2 of them are sitting on a hatch. You're not getting a C4 that way. You'll need to open up the floorboards, thread the needle through. M80 taking some time on Safe Harbor. There's a comically large amount of people on this hatch right now. In fact, it's Diffuser trying to hunt down Spirits, make up for that early round running up through Visa, dying to the pulse. Also got one player creeping down below. Gunner not for the opening, but for the finisher. Spirits ready for it. Yet M80 undaunted, not worried whatsoever. As NGR C4 goes, Diffuser's there for the trade. A 3-kill for him. And with Spirits only on 1 HP, and there's a long hallway in front. And that M10 might be the worst shotgun at range in the game, so he'll hop out. Not even find one. As that M80 attacker finds safe harbor outside, and M80 will move back to point. 2 in a row, and boy, how hard these rounds have been fought.
M80 have finally started to pull it out of the bag a little bit here as well. You mentioned there, Links, that they look a lot more similar to the M80 that we saw on Chalet versus the M80 that we've seen for the majority of Consulate on these attacks. They've started to take a little bit of pace out. They've started to understand how DZ are wanting to play here, and they're coming up with very good adaptations. Really tough engagement there to kick things off, but I don't know, but I think Diffuser's just sort of decided himself that maybe enough is enough and it's time to shut the door on this. He's 15-9 at the moment. Got nearly twice as many kills as anybody else on the roster at the moment on the side of M80.
Worth mentioning, by the way, we kind of haven't really talked about it. Obviously, Diffuser 15-9, but I mean, 3K round 1, 1VX in round 2. It's been a long time since. But if there's anybody who has single-handedly, I mean, bought rounds for M80, it has been Diffuser a couple times this game opening. 3 times, to be specific. Almost half his kills acquired in 2 rounds. And then, of course, one more to knock it over 50% in that 1v1. And now that M80 have got that attack move to the defense, it might be that trend you mentioned, Ollie, where suddenly the attack becomes the favored side. But something I have not noticed until literally just now, this is our first CEO defense of this entire map.
What a time to bring it out. I mean, the CEO attack can be quite good. It can be exciting, but I think it's very well known at this point, isn't it?
I mean, even...
The Gunner primed and ready at the moment for a little bit of a jump out. We'll have a pocket reinforcement as well, so we can start to get that all shut up. No more shenanigans allowed over there instead. So though attackers are going to have to move through. Nath with some hard breaches could choose to get that opened.
Ooh. This is interesting from Gavini. And a zombie Kiba hold inside of admin. Don't really see that one all too often, or at least, you know, I certainly haven't seen it a bit. And it's strategically sound. Sure, you waste a lot of Kibas, but you can retreat back. Diffuser. Okay, switching spots is interesting. Because now he's kind of cut off on this window. Gunner hops out, get NJR. Things starting to look a bit worrisome, but at least a clean trade for DZ. Gridlock for Fenrir. Pretty even trade, all things considered. Only issue, Diffuser stuck in admin. He's got 2 players on rappel waiting for him to fall. My God, we're sticking with it?
Getting backed up. Yeah. And Gavini's coming to his aid right now. So much getting put into Diffuser. Deathmark tracker, pressure from below. Upside down on the rappel, Spirits eventually will find one, but 2 kills come the other way for M80. That little bit of an extension, that tiny hold, that tiny bit of presence in copy has done so much work.
And that might be it. It's a bizarre round to be sure. Holding for dear life onto admin, not even the sight. And yet that might be it. Nath walking into the F-Naught, walking into the Vulcan. He just accepts his fate and watches his dreams turn to ash. 3 in a row to take it in OT. M80 qualify for Munich, and Darkzero miss out on their first international event in 2.5 years.
M80 redeeming themselves for stage 1 performances there. Missing out on EWC. They will not miss the major in November. They will be going to Munich. And a team that it's clear to see has put a hell of a lot of work in. Has shown us some fantastic siege here tonight. We might have qualified our teams, but there are more games to be played. For Lynx and I, that will be it. We'll be back after a very short break with our desk and they will be setting you up for our final game of the night.
We can fight up these sunnies.
We have a
Yeah.
glare for shoulder, back door.
They're comms. I'm playing Batman.
Wait to shoot that, yep.
I popped the glare for my door.
Could be in glow.
They're comms.
Major, baby, let's fucking go, baby. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
That's right. M80 is our fourth and final team here at the NAL that has qualified for the Munich Major. They still have another game to play, so let's make this really quick. Bring over hot and cold. Congratulations, guys, on qualifying for that Munich Major. You still have at least one more game today, but in general, a sigh of relief, I assume.
Yep, definitely a sigh of relief. It's been a minute since we made a land, so I'll take it.
Yeah, congratulations, obviously, on the win. That being said, what do you think was the biggest downfall for Darkzero today, or I guess towards their playoffs? Is there a weakness that you guys wanted to make sure that you made sure, or that you hammered home on exploiting of theirs?
I feel like on their attacks, they're very, very weak if they don't get early picks. So, I mean, yesterday I think we got absolutely destroyed in opening advantage. I don't know what today was, but it felt like we were doing a lot better. Just trying to not give them as many entry picks and then just slow them down late round because their executes haven't been, what DZ's executes used to be, in my opinion.
You guys' opening picks were definitely better, and congratulations on making Munich. I kind of want to talk to you. You put out a tweet yesterday saying that you took all the blame for that loss and what happened. I'm kind of curious as to why you took all the blame yesterday and then what changed in today.
I mean, our attacks, I feel like a lot of my attack calls yesterday were just very one-dimensional. And I let other people come up with ideas instead of just taking the reins and reining everyone into one idea. So I feel like that's why on attack we just kind of looked all over the place. Today, I mean, that was more of a focus for us, just listening to me, listening to what I want to do, and I think they went slightly better. Still some improvement needed, but
I mean, going to Munich I think is definitely better.
Yeah.
Yes, well, congrats once again. We're going to let you go because we do know that you guys have a very quick turnaround into that next game that you're going to be playing against Wildcard. Best of luck for that one as well, and we'll see you around.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Damn, DZ didn't make it to an international?
I'm happy about it.
Whoa!
In my opinion, DZ is just very boring to watch. I just don't like watching their style of play, so I'm happy it crumbled towards the end so that we could get some exciting teams to get to go there. And we're going to get to see Wildcard too. I'd much rather prefer an up-and-coming team, like a team like Wildcard, that they look so good at Reload. Maybe it's the...
Let's stop talking about Reload at this point.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying maybe they're a LAN team, so I'm excited for them and all. And of course, M80, they had an amazing stage, so it's nice to see that they went undefeated during the regular stage. Yes, they had a hiccup loss versus SSG, but it's great to see that Hot and Cold addressed it. And usually, so far with this version of M80, every time they get a big setback, they always bounce back with a statement. And I believe today is a statement. For them to be able to beat Darkzero, claim that spot, played very well. The opening kills was the biggest factor. I liked the fact that they were winning in that engagement because that's something that they've been struggling on throughout the whole stage. It wasn't perfect, but it's in the great direction.
I mean, for M80 to go up the way that they did and then to have a huge decline from round 7 where that then tapered off and then it just looked like it was falling in Darkzero's favor. And I want to commend Darkzero. Yes, they aren't going to Munich. Yes, they're going to have a long off season, but they really did succumb a comeback. I mean, the hope that was being instilled from each and every single round, they weren't winning these rounds and it was just like, okay, yeah, Darkzero won. It was convincing. They were doing very well using that pulse, being able to use the utility. It just came to that last round, round 12, where they just spoon-fed M80 their hope back, and then it just crushed their dream.
It's kind of a throwback to what Intero said at day 1 of playoffs. Here comes the DZ Clown car.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't make sense here because M80 has no control of the map outside of getting close to site, but everywhere inside the map, they had no control of Darkzero fighting Visa for no reason, having all of the control, all of the pressure applied on M80, then to just spoon feed them that entire round, and then because of it, now they're out of it.
Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. You know, I mean, it do be like that sometimes. A tough one for DZ. And the bracket has also been further updated because we now have our final 4 teams for the Munich International. SSG already in the grand finals, waiting patiently for the winner of Shopify against whichever team wins the upcoming game, which is going to be wildcard M80.
Yeah, it'll be a great game between those two teams. Wildcard impressed me a lot today. I mean, I do think OXG underperformed a little bit, but Wildcard, if they can use that momentum to snowball themselves, it'll be a really good back and forth between them because I'd say Wildcard is a little bit slower. They have an issue on their entry, but they are a very slow team. So it'll be interesting to see how M80 adapts to that. Will they try to match a utility, or will we see M80 revert like they used to do to a more aggressive playstyle?
Yes, but we're going to find that out after the break because first we need to take a little bit of a breather. Wildcard taking on M80. The loser is out, but they have already qualified to Munich. So this really is just for placement and SI points to see which one's going to come out on top and play Shopify Rebellion tomorrow. Come back after the break.